All right, let's go ahead and get started with Authentic Threads Assignment 1. First of all, here in the instructions, it says ensure that the system date at the top of the screen is December 1st, 2022. Use this year for the program to grade correctly. So this is where they're talking about make sure that it says December 1st, 2022. If you need to change it, you do here with the calendar. All right. Instruction number 2. All of the journals used in this assignment are found within the General Ledger module. In the task menu at the top of the menu bar, use the guideline below to determine where to enter your transactions. Record all cash payments in the cash payments journal. Record all cash receipts, including cash sales, in the cash receipts journal. Record the purchase of merchandise on account only in the purchases journal. This is going to be your purchases invoice. Record sales of merchandise and services on account only in the sales journal. It will be your sales invoice. And record adjustments and any other transactions that do not fit the above criteria in the general journal. Use the reference number of the document for each transaction as your reference when entering all journal entries. As I said in Getting Started video, that it should self-populate, but you do want to verify that it is the correct number according to your source document. Instruction 3. Enter the transactions for December 1st and the first December 2nd transaction into the appropriate journals. The instruction on the source document will walk you through the first entry of each journal type. No instructions are given for a form that is comparable to a form you have already encountered in a prior assignment. So to start our instructions or to start our transactions, we're going to jump down here to source documents. We have first been given our chart of accounts, and I did look at this earlier in the Getting Started video with you. But it breaks it down according to the classification, the account number, the account title, all the way through to our expenses. And I'll show you another way. You don't have to memorize this, but another way that when we go to enter, you can select the account title. Move over here then to this arrow to move to the next source document. So it'll say here, Form 1. And you want to make sure that you know what forms you're on, especially at the end of class when you stop, that you make a note somewhere of what form you're on so that you know where to pick up. Because sometimes it gets a little confusing if you've left the program for a while. Okay, so what is this document? I want you to review it. It is issued by us. We are Authentic Threads. So whenever you see that it says Authentic Threads, that is a document that has come from us. It says it is sold to. All right. And the date is listed it's an S. It's a sales invoice. The sales invoice, this is our customer. And this is what they've bought. So we have the amount of the product, the amount of the sales tax, and then the total invoice. Okay, let's see what the instructions, and you can see here, these are illuminated or they're bold, so we know that there are instructions involved with this form. This form is a copy of a sales invoice. In the city in which Authentic Threads is located, a 9.25% state and local sales tax is levied on all retail sales. Most of Authentic Threads sales are cash and credit card. However, a few individuals are permitted to make purchases on account. Select the sales journal, input task, and proceed as follows. We're going to go ahead and collapse this until we get through the first assignment for December 2nd. We are going to select the Add New Entry button Then enter the date of the transaction or use the pop-up calendar. So the date of our transaction is the 1st. Enter the invoice number as 936 in the reference column. And I think this is the only time that we'll have to do this. Enter the amount of the sales credit in the sales credit column. So the amount of our sales subtotal is $555. So we're going to put that here. Next, it says enter the 9.25 sales tax in the sales tax payable credit column. You can select the calculator button at the bottom of the screen to display the pop-up calculator. We don't really need to do that because it's already calculated for us. So we're going to take this sales tax of $51.34 and we're going to put it in our column here of sales tax payable credit. The entry to accounts receivable debit is calculated and entered automatically. Isn't that beautiful? It takes these two columns, automatically adds it together, and this is the amount that the customer owes us. Select the customer from the drop-down menu listed. So we're going to have to look here. Our customer is Aaron Kyle. We're going to go to our select customer. We're going to look for Aaron Kyle, and we've selected him. The next thing it says, review your journal entry, and then select the post button to post to the general ledger. We're going to go down here and post. The general ledger accounts are updated. That is your 5 steps of posting. Are you excited? So we're going to click OK and enter all transactions for sales on account in this manner. So anytime that it has authentic threads here at the top and it says sold to, that is a sales invoice issued by us to our customer. All right, let's go on to the next transaction. Form 2. It says a sales invoice, and this may get a little tricky, but what you want to do is look for this stamp to help us to know that it is not our sales invoice, or that it says casual chick and it's sold to authentic thread. So let's go ahead and read our instructions. Form 2. This form is an invoice received from a vendor. All incoming source documents are stamped with the date of receipt and usually a source document number. The stamp on this invoice shows the date of December 1st and the number P842 assigned by Authentic Threads to identify a source document as purchase invoice number 842. This is where we're looking right here. If the date of the receipt is different from the date of the source document, the transaction should be journalized using the date the paper was actually received. So what they're talking about here is the date of the source document is November 29th. The date it was received is December 1st, and that's what we want to use. The cost of the items in the invoice totals are checked by an employee in the Authentic Threads office. The check marks after each item and the initials near the total indicate the amounts have been verified. Select the purchase journal input task and proceed as follows. So the check marks here is what they're talking about, and then the initial JS. So they're verifying that we received 20 fashion tops, 10 fashion sweaters, 18 jeans, and 6 scarves. That's what those check marks indicate in the total. All right, select and add new entry button. Then enter the date of the transaction or use the pop-up calendar. The date of the transaction was received December 1st. Enter the invoice number 842 in the reference column. So we're going to go 842. To record the purchase, enter the debit amount in the purchase debit column. So this is $1 amount $2,114.50. Select the vendor from the drop-down menu. And who was our vendor? Casual Chick. To enter the accounts payable credit, it will be computed and entered automatically. That's beautiful. Review your journal entry, then select the Post button to the general ledger. Input all transactions for purchases on account in this manner. There's your 5 steps of posting. We're going to click OK, and I'm going to encourage you to save at this time. And then it says that, before proceeding to save the assignment, ensuring that the data in each active window is saved. Source document form 3. Let's look at this. What do you think this is? Okay, it's to Lyons Realty. It says here that we need to issue a check. So what journal do you think we're going to go to? It says that it's for rent of the 9800 Lebanon Pike. That's our address. All right, and this is the amount that's due. Let's read the instructions. This form is the statement for December's rent. Julia Medina, one of the owner's managers, has approved this statement, as shown by her notation on the left side of the form. Select the cash payments journal. Input task and proceed as follows. Select the new entry button, then enter the date of the transaction or use the pop-up calendars to select the date. It's December 1st. Put the check number in the reference column, starting with 902, the current check number. Number all subsequent checks incrementally, and that was already there for us. For payments like this to non-vendors, rent expense in this case, select the Insert Debit Credit button and enter the account number for the account to be debited, 6145, or credited, to select the correct account from the drop-down menu chart of accounts. So you can type in 6145, or you can go to the drop-down menu and you can scroll down and go to 6145 for rent expense, or you can also just type in the first couple letters of the account title and it will bring up your options. So we're going to go ahead and select that. Enter the amount to be debited, $1,200, and then the entry to cash credit will be computed and entered automatically, and a vendor is not required. So we're going to always scroll over here to make sure our cash credit is calculated correctly according to our statement or invoice. If there is a second account to be debited, there is not in this case. You can continue to insert debit credit lines and total cash amount will recalculate automatically. Review your journal entry, then select the Post button to post to the general ledger. Input all non-cash payment accounts in this manner. In a later form, you will enter a payment to a vendor. Let's move on to Form 4. Now, you can see that we have lost the option to do instructions. Okay, so we've seen this type of document again. Do you remember where we're going to go? Good. We're going to go to our sales journal. Yes. Okay, it's from us, sold to Reuben Woods. We're going to go down here, enter a new entry. We have the 937 as our invoice. We're going to scroll down. We're going to look at your subtotal. is the amount of the product. That's our sales credit. Our sales tax payable is $29.14. Our total invoice we want to verify is $344.14. And our customer is Reuben Woods. And now I'm going to post. Form 5, Runaway Designs. We have a sales invoice. Is that one of ours? Oh no, remember we have to go over here to look at our stamp. It was a sales invoice from Runaway Designs, but we received it in purchasing. We've put our own purchase invoice number on it. We are going to go to our purchases journal. Our date here, which one do we use? December 1st. We're going to add a new entry. Our invoice number should come up, 843. We're going to scroll down. We have the amount of $4,725. It's going to automatically generate the accounts payable credit. And we're going to go over to select our vendor, Runaway Designs, select it, review, and post. Now, this is going to be our first transaction on December 2nd. This will be the last one that we post until we go on to our next instruction. So we're back to where we get instructions here for our source documents. We are once again issuing a check. So we know that we have to go to what journal? Cash payments. So let's see what the instructions say. This form is a reminder statement received from a vendor for the amount owed from a previous purchase on account. Julia Medina has verified the amount on the statement by checking it against the file of unpaid purchase invoices in the accounts payable ledger. She has written authentic stretch purchases invoice number on a statement as evidence of this verification. Issue a check for the amount of this statement. Select the cash payments journal, input tasks, and proceed as follows. Select the add new entry button, then enter the date of the transaction or use the pop-up calendar to select the date. So this is going to be December 2nd. And it says put the check number in the post reference number. It should be 903. For payments like this to vendors in payment of earlier purchases, enter the amount, the debit amount in the accounts payable debit column. So let's go ahead and look. How do you know that this is for on account? Okay, one of the indicators here is that it's a statement. There's not anything here. There's no detail of what we purchased. Another thing is if you go and you search our vendors list, you would see Runaway Designs is in our vendors list. So that's another way you can just verify. Okay, I'm going to add this again. So that's what you need to look for. And then the amount that we need to pay is $2,403.60. So as the instructions said, we need to go to accounts payable. And if there's a purchase discount, there's not in this case, enter that discount in purchase discount credit column. Next, select the vendor because cash will automatically happen. Select our vendor and the entry to cash credit will automatically be computed and entered automatically. Review your journal entry, then select post to post to the general ledger. That is all for this video.